Welcome to the Dugout. I'm your host, Joseph Silva. On today's episode, we talk about the epic highs and lows of pitching in Major League Baseball. We preview a fantastic pitching matchup in San Diego. And finally, the class of the Major League Baseball has been revealed. And before we get started, go ahead and leave a like if you're enjoying the content. Subscribe to Playbook Sports for everything sports related. And with that, let's begin. So the first series we're talking about this week is Red Sox versus Guardians, a 4-game series that was won 3-1 by Cleveland. For the Red Sox, they're pitching this season, and this series has been absolutely phenomenal. Cutter Crawford went 5 2/3, gave up 2 hits, no earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts in Game 1. He has been absolutely filthy this year because his sweeper is a thing of beauty. He's not throwing it as hard, but in exchange, it's got more drop and more horizontal movement. So that thing moves like no other. And quite frankly, it is nasty if you get a chance to watch it. And it just continues the start he has to his year. He's got a sub-1 ERA, .57, a whip under 1, 18 strikeouts. He looks like one of the best pitchers in the league. Let's see if Cutter Crawford could keep it going. In Game 2, Garrett Whitlock only went 4, gave up 3 hits, and walk, 1 strikeout. Not the best start, but Whitlock has been struggling to go deep into games this year. Tanner Houck was absolutely phenomenal. Pitched the game of the young season thus far, or aside from Ronel Blanco's no-hitter. But he threw a complete game, 3 hits, no walks, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, a 94-pitch Maddox in one of the fastest games in the past few years. Absolutely incredible stuff to watch. And in the finale, it was a bullpen game. The bullpen was difficult this series, but pitched well in the game itself. For the series, the bullpen went 19 1/3, had an ERA just under 6, a 1.76 whip, and 6.5 Ks per 9. They've been rough. The only 2 pitchers that pitched clean innings all series were Chris Martin and Brendan Bernardino during the bullpen game. So it really sucks because the bullpen was pitching well going into this series and just complemented a fantastic pitching staff the Red Sox had. On the hitting side, Rafael Devers continues his struggles. Was only hit 200 in this series, 633 OPS, and struck out a third of the time. He's been struggling on cutters, no hard hit balls. He's been 0 for 6. Really one of the pitches he's historically seen well and just uncharacteristic for him this season. And more importantly, the sliders, which feed off cutters, he's hitting 111 versus the 279 average he had last year. His hard hit rate on those is down a full 10%. He just needs to distinguish between the 2 pitches, work on his eye, get it going because it's been brutal for Devers. Connor Wong has been fantastic this season in his platoon role, and he was fantastic this series. He hit .364 with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 1242 OPS. Games 2 and 3 were absolutely spectacular from Wong. He had a solid game 4 in the finale, but Connor Wong really doing a great job splitting time in the backstop and DHing. Not necessarily the worst thing if he's going to hit like that. And Tristan Casas was expected to take another huge step this year. Continues to struggle. 188 average in the series, 2 extra base hits for a 673 OPS. He kind of looks lost at the plate too, and he was another one along with Devers that was supposed to carry this offense, and that's been a reason why the Red Sox have not hit what was supposed to be their ceiling because their 2 big bats in the lineup have been struggling. But for the Guardians, it was a fantastic series for them. In Game 1, Javen Curry went 5 strong, only gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, struck out 3. It was his first start in the year, and he looked damn impressive in his first start. In Game 2, Tanner Beebe went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Just a solid 5 innings. That's what you kind of expect from this Guardians team is you want 5 out of your starters. Same thing in Game 3. Blake Lively went 5, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned, a walk, 7 strikeouts. The strikeout stuff is really good from Beebe, and he is one of those that looks to step up and fill that ace void if Tristan McKenzie is struggling, and Shane Bieber, of course, out for the year with Tommy John. Beebe is a name to keep an eye out for. And Cookie Carrasco back with the Guardians after a few years. went 5 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts in the finale. He's starting to look like that old Cookie Carrasco we fell in love with, and another solid name for this team. But where they make their money is with that bullpen, and the bullpen had an incredible series. 16 in the third innings pitched, 3.86 ERA, a whip under 1, and 12.6 strikeouts per 9. They were phenomenal. They were filthy. There are a lot of words to describe this Cleveland bullpen, but one you should be using is one of the best, because this bullpen, quite frankly, is one of the best in baseball. On the hitting side, Jose Ramirez, a man expected to carry a lineup with not that many big bats, continues his struggles. In the series, hit 200, drove in 4 though, but a 5.02 OPS, far, far, far below the standards we expect from Jose Ramirez. And it's kind of rough to watch him play because he's chasing a lot more than you expect from Jose Ramirez, because he is a patient man at the plate, takes his walks, works deep counts, and now he's chasing 10% more. It's going to be something he can fix, and it's an easy fix, but it's been why he's struggling this year. Josh Naylor is cooling off after his red-hot start to the year. He hit 250 with a 267 BABIP, which is far below what he's had going into the series, and only a 500 OPS. Again, just a tough series for Naylor, but he did face an incredible Red Sox pitching staff. But if you want to assert yourself as one of the best hitters in the league, you got to do it off the best. Now we have to watch and see, is Josh Naylor who he was before this series, or is he who he is the guy in this series, or is it somewhere in the middle? It's maybe somewhere in the middle, but for Cleveland's sake, they really need that pre-series Josh Naylor. Gabriel Arias, however, was the star of the show. Hit 353 in the series, gave with 3 extra base hits, 3 RBIs, and struck out 8 times, however. However, a 941 OPS is always going to play and is always what you want to see. He needs to walk more, but he dropped his strikeout rate this year compared to last, and that's something you want to see out of him, because that strikeout rate was high. And even like the 8 strikeouts in this series is high, but if you have that kind of production, it kind of mitigates it in a way, and he's what they need with the struggling Jose Ramirez. Overall, the Red Sox need more length in their lineup. Devers is struggling, Yoshida is struggling, Casas is struggling. Tyler O'Neill has been phenomenal to start the year, but one man alone cannot carry an offense. The rotation needs to keep it up, and it's going to be hard for them to keep it up, especially with Cutter Crawford having a 1,017 OPS plus, meaning he is 10 times better at run prevention than a league average pitcher. 200 is impressive. 1,000 is unheard of, and a pace that is near impossible to keep up. So let's see if he can do it. For the Guardians, they look like the favorites in a weak AL Central. The pitching staff, it gave them what they needed. Starters went 5, handed it off the bullpen. Bullpen gave up some runs, but overall limited damages in big spots, 1 in high leverage, and that's what you want to see out of the Cleveland bullpen. Offensively, they have their guys, but they need Jose Ramirez, who is the lifeblood, the captain of this team, to get going, and quite frankly, he struggled. But if they play like this, they will be AL Central champions. For another division that is hotly contested going into the year and has been fun to watch this season, the AL East had a showdown between the Yankees and Rays, and the Yankees pitching came out to play this series. In Game 1, Clark Schmidt went 5 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. His knuckle curve was nasty. 57% called strike plus whiff rate. It was unfair for hitters. He threw that knuckle curve 22 times. No balls in play. That's how on Clark Schmidt was in that start. Nestor Cortez went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, no earned, no walks, 8 strikeouts. The fastball cutter combo was on point. Rays hitters looked unbalanced, couldn't really tell which was going. A lot of weak contact off those pitches, fooled them. Nestor Cortez has gotten back to being nasty Nestor this year. And in the finale, Lucas Gill went 5 1/3, gave up 2 hits, no earned, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and the bullpen struggled though. 10 innings pitched, 5.40 ERA, 1.6 whip, and an 8.1 Ks per 9. It's worth noting, like much things in the bullpen, one bad outing, one bad inning can really blow up your numbers, and that's kind of what happened here. There were 2 bad innings here. The 10th in game 2, and then Dennis Santana in the finale really inflated those numbers. But Clay Holmes and a lot of the other pieces in that bullpen looked solid. It's just 2 innings that really turned this thing sideways for the Yankees. Offensively, Aaron Judge has been rough to start the year. Sub 200 average in this series, 364 OPS, 7 strikeouts. He just has not been Aaron Judge to start the year, quite frankly. He's not barreling everything up like you expect him to. Barrel rate down an astonishing 16% this year, which is basically unheard of. And really, it's not concerning in the fact that your toe doesn't affect your swing. It's concerning in the fact that his timing's off. He's missing meatballs down the middle. He's not hitting the fastball, which is how he has made his bread and butter. It has been a rough start to the season for Aaron Judge. Juan Soto, however, continues to be the hot hitter. Hit 250 in the series with a home run, 3 RBIs, 891 OPS. If that's a down series, which it was for Soto, he may be the American League MVP because he has been on fire to start the year, and he looks to be the savior of this Yankees team. And Anthony Volpe may have been figured out by an incredible Rays pitching staff this year. He was hot coming in and was ice cold coming out. 0.83 average, 167 OPS, 4 strikeouts. They just had his number this series. Volpe did not look like the future Derek Jeter. He looked like the future Didi Gregorius. For Tampa Bay, their pitching is how they make their bread and butter, and that's how they did it in this series. Tyler Alexander went 5 1/3, gave up 2 no earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Nice start from Alexander. Zach Eflin has rebounded, went 6 strong, gave up 3 hits, no earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He has been one of those you're kind of expecting to be the de facto ace of this staff, with McClanahan down, Glasnow being traded, Baz down. There needs to be someone to step up, and it's Zach Eflin for now. Aaron Savali got blown up in his start, though. Only went 4 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 5 earned, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Savali has been disappointing since coming to Tampa Bay and has been, quite frankly, immune to the Rays' pitching factory and magic. Really weird to see. Let's see if he can figure things out here. But the bullpen is what the Rays are famous for. It's what they're known for. They can turn any guy into a 95-mile-an-hour high-leverage arm, and they showed why in this series. Went 10 innings, gave up no runs, a whip of .7, 9 Ks per 9. Absolutely beautiful stuff in the bullpen. That is Kevin Cashball to a T. He pulled the right levers, got the right guys in. They performed. That is Tampa Bay baseball right there. But offensively, they cannot get the support they needed. Randy Arozarena is not some MF named Randy. He is Randy from the grocery store this season. He hit .071 in the series, 259 OPS, 7 strikeouts. He's kind of got that same Aaron Judge thing going on. He's missing fastballs. He's especially missing them down the middle. Randy punishes everything, and he has been the one getting punished this year. Absolutely brutal to watch, and you hope he figures it out because he is one of the most electric players in the game. Jose Caballero was the hero of the series. He hit .364 with 2 doubles and a .910 OPS. A bottom-of-the-lineup man was a hero of the series, which tells you how the series was offensively for the Rays. But it's not to discount what Caballero did because he was phenomenal. He seemingly had all the big hits for Tampa Bay in this series, and it's kind of what you need if your stars aren't playing. You need someone to step up. Caballero stepped up. Which brings us to another star who struggled, Yandy Diaz. Only 3 for 16 for a 188 average, 375 OPS, 5 strikeouts. He didn't walk. He wasn't the Yandy Diaz that kind of broke out last year that looked to contend for a Triple Crown this point in this season. He's kind of looked lost offensively. He's back to hitting the ball on the ground more as opposed to in the air. He wasn't really hitting in the air, but in the air more. So Yandy Diaz needs to figure things out here. So overall takeaways, the Yankees are finally the Yankees we have expected them to be in the Aaron Judge era. A nasty rotation without Garrett Cole, and that should only get better. The bullpen did have the 2 starts, but the big arms came out and got the outs when they needed to. Offensively, they are being carried by Juan Soto, Volpe. Volpe had a bad series. Judge had a bad series and a bad season, yet they still found ways to win through contributions from guys like Gleyber Torres, Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton. This lineup now has length. They have the rotation they needed. This may be the Yankees team that we've waited for a long, long time. The Rays have the thing they've always had, pitching, great rotation, unbelievable bullpen to start the year and in this series. However, offensively, they do not have the guys that they were expected to when they built this team. Rosarena continues his struggles. Diaz has been okay. Siri has been okay. They need someone to step up in order to win. Let's see who's going to step up. And we have found the class of Major League Baseball here in a series that was expected to be a World Series preview. Braves and Rangers, and the Braves absolutely smoked the Rangers in the first 2 games and played them tight in Game 3. In Game 1, Chris Sale went 7 strong, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He's looking like the Chris Sale of old, that fastball slider combo, not as deadly as it was when we last saw him in a healthy season in 2018, but it looks good. The Braves were kind of made fun of for this Chris Sale trade. They may be the ones laughing now. Charlie Morton was fantastic in Game 2. 6 strong, with giving up 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 walk, 4 strikeouts. That's what you kind of expect from Charlie Morton at this point. He's not going to be 2017, 2018 ground chuck. He's going to be a guy who gets you innings, and he's going to get big innings for depleted and struggling Braves rotation. And in Game 3, aside from the 1 blow-up inning, the starter was fantastic. He went toe-to-toe with a tough Texas lineup and delivered for the most part. Hitting-wise, Travis fucking d'Arnaud, man. Have a series. He hit everything, and I mean everything that came his way. 3 home run game in Game 1, including the dagger grand slam in the 6th that put things out of reach. And again, in Game 2, they were cautious. They didn't want to pitch to him. So, he took his walks and then hit another home run. And then when Trump started in Game 3 is the one game they lost series. d'Arnaud is part of the best catching tandem in baseball with Murphy. And with Murphy down, d'Arnaud has stepped up in a big way. Acuna is starting to heat up a little bit. For the first 2 games, he went 1 for 5. 2 runs scored, took his walks, and in Game 3, he had a lot of hard hit balls. He put himself on base and gave the Braves a chance to win. But we will talk more about Game 3 in a little bit. And then 2, Michael Harris had a nice series too. 5 for 9, 2 runs scored, a home run, 2 RBIs in the first 2 games. And again, in Game 3, he's had hits behind Acuna, pushed the lineup to Ozuna, Riley, Olsen, the guys who are supposed to drive him in. Great series for him. For the Rangers, Andrew Heaney went 5 strong, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs, and what, quite frankly, and I say this with the utmost respect, is the most Andrew Heaney start of all time. He struck out guys, he walked guys, gave up home runs, and didn't go 6 innings. He is the Joey Gallo of pitchers in a way of it's either a strikeout, a walk, or a home run. No one has really been able to fix that for Andrew Heaney, and I don't think you want that to be fixed for Andrew Heaney. That's who he is at this point, and you got a little bit of the bad. Nathan Eovaldi, fantastic in Game 2, 5 1/3, It's 3 earned, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. He just could not find the zone, and you have to find the zone, at least in some capacity against this Braves lineup, because we do talk about the fact that they hit 300 as a team, but they'll take their walks. There's a reason why they hit 300 as a team. And Michael Lorenzen, aside from the first inning from hell, shut him down, did not allow a hit for 4 innings in Game 3. Phenomenal from Michael Lorenzen, who really needed to stop this Braves offense. Hitting-wise, Adolis Garcia, 3 for 8, 1 run, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs in the first 2 games, and then put the game to bed in what turned out to be the difference maker, his 2-run home run in the 7th in Game 3 that was just enough to stave off a late Braves comeback in the 8th. Marcus Semien, 2 for 8, 2 runs scored, a home run and an RBI in the first 2 games as well. Semien has been fantastic at the top of the lineup, and he continues to prove so. And Wyatt Langford struggles continue, 1 for 8, a run scored, 4 strikeouts. He looks lost. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when we talked about the Rangers. He looks lost, hasn't really adjusted to pitching, is still looking to figure things out here. And Langford, again, doesn't need to succeed right away because you have all these big bats in the lineup, but he needs to start adjusting to pitching more because he has to contribute at some point. But we will focus specifically on Game 3 because it was a fascinating 8th inning here, because you had 2 defensive miscues from the Rangers that kind of put the Braves in a spot where they normally capitalize. But Olsen struck out, then Ozuna popped up. David Robertson was phenomenal. And then Kirby Yates gets Orlando Arcia. Just a little uncharacteristic from the Braves. And credit to the Rangers bullpen because they held strong to seal the win here. But ultimately, like I said at the top, the Braves have kind of emerged as the class of Major League Baseball. With the Dodgers struggling, they have taken that mantle and run with it. The offense looks fantastic and is made up for a lot of the pitching woes, with Chris Sale taking over as the ace for a struggling Max Fried, Charlie Morton eating innings. The bullpen has been rough, with only Iglesias being the top guy, and Matzik has been blown up a lot. But an offense like that, Ozuna dominating, Acuna starting to get hot, Olsen is struggling a little bit, Riley's been great, Harris has been great, Albies has been great. You can name everybody in this lineup, quite frankly. They've been great, and they're missing contributions from their MVP and their starting catcher. Atlanta has been dominant. The Rangers, they're fighting through their injuries. We've known this. They're hanging around 500 right now. Not where you expect to be as the defending World Series champion, but if you're missing your top 2 pitchers, you're missing your breakout pitcher who went on the IL, you have a somewhat struggling Corey Seager. Your 2 top prospects who are expected to contribute are struggling. 12-11 is not a bad record to have, and it shows that once this team gets going, they may mow through the American League once again. And one of their top prospects did make his debut on Thursday. Jack Leiter, the number 8 prospect in the Rangers organization, came up in place of an injured Cody Bradford and struggled against an average Tigers lineup. He went 3 2/3, 8 hits, 7 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. The line looked rough. The underlying numbers looked even rougher. He was hit hard 62.5% of the time, which is unheard of in baseball, even for bad pitchers. The Tigers knew what was coming. They barreled it up and absolutely hammered Leiter, and that was shown with an 18.8 barrel percentage. 10 is great. Nearly doubling that again is unheard of. So it was just rough for Leiter. But I would be remiss not to mention Leody Taveras badly misplaying a ball in center field, extending the inning where 3 Tigers would come in to score. Just kind of killed any momentum Leiter might have had. It was an easy play that looked difficult because Taveras took a bad route, lost the ball. And if he makes that play, I don't know if Leiter turns things around. We'll never know. And now he's been sent back down to AAA to go figure things out here. Not the debut you wanted for your top pitching prospect. And then on the other side of Texas, Justin Verlander made his season debut in the nation's capital. He went 6 strong innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and Justin Verlander, I would say looked like Justin Verlander, but he did have some things that I was concerned about. Fastball velocity was down in full tick from last year, and you could kind of see it too because he wasn't getting a lot of swings and misses, only a 10% whiff rate, 18% called strike plus whiffs, and that's not what you want to see out of a league average pitcher, not let alone who's the ace of your staff, especially with a weak Nationals lineup. He did get a lot of weak contact, but it's kind of worrying for Verlander. You want him to miss bats a lot more. Weak contact is always great, but a lineup as weak as the Nationals, and I say this knowing what they did to my Dodgers in the series before, should not give you as much trouble as Verlander had. We'll look to see. It's his first start back, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on as Houston looks for their ace to save their floundering season. And for the series to watch this week, we have an NLCS rematch from a couple years ago in San Diego as the Phillies travel to Petco Park to face the Padres. The Padres have had a good offense this year. As a team, they have a 109 OPS plus, slightly above average pitching staff as their team ERA plus is 105. They face a struggling Phillies offense as their team OPS plus is 94, but the best pitching staff in baseball with a team ERA plus of 124. In game 1, we have Joe Musgrove with his 2-2 record, 6.29 ERA for a 65 ERA plus, 177 whip, and 20 strikeouts. He struggled to start the year, and he will be pitching in front of the hometown crowd and a struggling Phillies lineup. Let's see if he gets it going. He faces off against co-ace Aaron Nola, who's 2-1 with a 3.47 ERA, good for a 1.24 ERA plus, 1.24 whip, and 19 strikeouts. Aaron Nola has returned to form here and has been a much-needed addition to this Phillies rotation because he was supposed to be the number 2. He's pitching more like the number 4, which is not an insult to Aaron Nola. He's been great. It just shows how deep this Phillies rotation is. And we'll see that in Game 2 with arguably the pitching matchup of the young season. Dylan Cease goes for the Padres, 2-1, 1.99 ERA, good for a 2.06 ERA plus, whip under 1, 27 strikeouts. He looks like the Dylan Cease that nearly stole a Cy Young from Justin Verlander. He has rediscovered the magic back in San Diego. Faces arguably the best pitcher in the National League on the young season. Ranger Suarez, 3-0, 1.73 ERA, good for a 2.48 ERA plus, 0.77 whip, 27 strikeouts. Phenomenal season from Ranger Suarez. That's more what I meant when I was talking about Aaron Nola being the number 4, because Ranger Suarez is pitching like the ace of the staff, a staff full of fantastic, incredible arms. He's been the best among them, and if you could only watch one game, watch this one because this is a pitching treat. In Game 3, Michael King goes for the Padres. He's 2-1 with a 3.33 ERA, good for a 1.22 ERA plus, a 1.22 whip, and 29 strikeouts. He has kind of made it up a little bit. Can't make it up all, of course, the way Soto is playing, but he's helped alleviate a lot of the burden of trading Juan Soto because he has been fantastic and filled in nicely for a departed Blake Snell. He faces off against Christopher Sanchez, who's 1-2, but don't let the record fool you. He's got a 2.53 ERA, good for a 1.70 ERA plus, 1.31 whip, and 25 strikeouts. He again has been another phenomenal Phillies arm as this pitching staff. I can't sing their praises enough. They've all been great this year, and it's fun to watch. For the Padres, the hitters to watch in this series, Fernando Tatis Jr. playing like an MVP, 273 average, 6 home runs, 14 strikeouts, good for a 143 OPS plus. Not only does he have 6 home runs, which is near the top of the major league lead, but he has hit them in clutch times. He hit one that sunk the Dodgers. He hits them when it matters most. Fernando is playing great baseball. His partner in crime in center field, Jackson Merrill's had a fantastic start to the year too. 311 average, only 1 home run, but a 9.76 walk rate, good for a 128 OPS plus. He is kind of filled in part of the gap again for the aforementioned Juan Soto. He stepped up huge because this Padres outfield looked rough to start the year. You didn't know necessarily who was even going to start in center field. He took the job and has run with it. Been a phenomenal contact guy, a phenomenal on-base guy, and that's kind of what you need. You are getting your power from Tatis and Machado. You need someone to set the table for these two, and that's exactly what Merrill's doing. But the other member of the big three, Xander Bogaerts, has been absolutely rough this year. 191 average, 1 home run, 8 RBIs, 46 OPS plus. He continues to hit at the top of the lineup. He has the protection he needs. He has the bat-to-ball skills. It's just he has been absolutely difficult to watch this year. There's no sugarcoating it. Xander Bogaerts, who's not even a quarter of the way into that massive deal, may lead the Padres to regret it because he is difficult. He can figure things out. Let's just see if he can do it. Hitters to watch for the Phillies. Standing man himself, Trey Turner, has been absolutely fantastic to start the year. He's got a 353 average, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, good for a 155 RPS plus. He's just making contact, putting balls in play, letting the speed do his thing, because that's what Trey Turner does. He gets on base, he'll steal you a couple bags, but the bat-to-ball skills are phenomenal. He's making so much great contact. Trey Turner, fantastic start to the year. Bryce Harper, not having a Bryce Harper season, but he's still having a great season. He's hitting 237, 4 home runs, but he's making his money where he does with that great eye of his, 11.63 walk rate. He's not had the contact you would want to see from your number 3 hitter, but he is just hitting it hard. He's taking his walks. He's got that Bryce Harper approach we love, and the contact's going to come more and more, but you can't be upset. He's having a good season. But man having a very terrible season is Nick Castellanos. Not even all these tragedies can fuel the man fueled by tragedy himself, because he's not been great. 187 average, no home runs, 32.3 strikeout rate, 33 OPS plus. We all knew his season last year was unsustainable, but we didn't expect it to swing this far in the other direction. And he's always going to hit around 250 for you. He's going to have the power numbers, and he's one of the last few big names in the famous hasn't homered yet list. And that's really surprising because he always does hit the ball hard, but he's not hitting it hard. He's not hitting it at all. And Nick Castellanos has to figure things out because the world is giving him the tragedies he thrives off of. He just hasn't capitalized. But regardless, it should be a fun series to watch and a great test to see who will be one of the wild card teams in the National League. But what do you think? What series are you looking forward to the most? What do you recommend for Nick Castellanos? Are the Braves really the class of the Major League Baseball? Let me know in the comments down below. And once again, if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe to Playbook Sports, and remember, on the way out, play ball.